generations, Anita Fern.
Hello, Christopher here again with another one of our Fireside Chats at Anita Fern. Ushering in spring here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, finally starting to get some warmer weather. Even though we're by the fireplace, we're going to warm things up by talking about architecture here at Anita Fern. We've talked a little bit about the design of the store in the past and the influences that we've brought here to Anita Fern, which will enhance your shopping experience. But I thought it would be interesting to talk to one of the artisans that has made this all possible. You know, a lot of people, when they come into a retail store, don't really understand or give thought to all the planning that goes into building a store experience. Ron Siebler is one of those craftsmen that truly understands the necessity of good design in anything, your home, your business, or a retail store. And Ron actually designed several of the elements that utilize a lot of the construction that has gone into Anita Fern. Let's take a look. What you're looking at now is one of several bookcase shelving units that we have in Anita Fern. And this particular unit was designed and built by Ron Siebler, who we'll be introducing you to in just a moment. Now, this particular bookcase presented an interesting challenge because this was not in the original plans for Anita Fern. Once we opened, we realized that we needed more shelving space, and this bookcase solved a lot of our problems for storage that we had here at the store. Ron Siebler, come on in, Ron. How are you?
It's so good to see you this morning. It's always such a great thing to be in the store.
Well, glad that you're here. Ron is one of the carpenters that designed not only this bookcase, but a couple others that we have here in the store. And Ron, we have obviously a mutual connection with Ann Abernathy, who's the architect. Explain a little bit about how you became involved in some of the design elements here at Anita Fern.
Well, originally, I came to the store because of Ann Abernathy. You were hosting a outing with Preservation Dallas, and she was the guest lecturer that night on the history of the store and her design work. I had admired Ann's work from afar and thought what a great opportunity to meet her. So I joined you and many other people that evening in her wonderful presentation of the elements in the store and her excitement of her work in designing the store. And in conversation with her, began to realize just how many artisan friends we had in common, including Tim Corsi, who's done your register counters, who did the lay light frame, Richard Potter, who did the ironwork on the front doors, and then just the mutual admiration of the arts and crafts period.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me a little bit about the design of this bookcase and the couple others that you designed in the store. What was the challenge that faced you when you were designing these to place in the store?
The challenge, quite simply, was that when I was done, for you not to know that I had done them, that they looked as if they were an original component to the store. We weren't working with Ann's design drawings, but we were working with her design elements. And so, for example, just to capture the sweeping arch of the eyebrow from the other cabinets in the store, match the wood and stain. Because these pieces came in 2 years later, and you have natural oxidation, you have natural aging that occurs in the woods, so that presents a challenge. Even the lighting, so that it is consistent with the other elements in the store, and incorporating that into the electronics of the store was also a challenge. The woodworkers that worked with me of Johnson and Burris, I think you will agree, we all succeeded in doing a wonderful job. And you walk through the store and it's just a natural element now. Having been in the store previously and seeing the glass work throughout, and now seeing it focused and concentrated in this one area, it's a lot more enjoyable. I think it's a lot more enjoyable to see it here, the color and the brilliance.
And then, of course, the beautiful oak that you got to work with, too, because that's a huge element with Stickley and Copeland furniture and the store, too.
And I think it's an important point to make about your entire store. All the wood in this building is dimensional lumber. There's very little veneered materials in here. And that is in keeping with the arts and crafts movement and the furniture that you're selling.
All right. Ron, let's walk over here and we can take a look at some of your other designs. Back here with Ron Siebler, and Ron not only works with wood and does construction and renovation, but another one of his passions is blacksmithing. And we really haven't talked a lot about that within our relationship, but Ron actually does a lot of blacksmithing in his spare time and has produced some beautiful pieces. So Ron, tell me a little bit about the blacksmithing work that you do.
Well, I got into it because my great-grandfather was a blacksmith. And visiting his shop in the Stir Museum in Grand Island, Nebraska back in 1990, I met the working smith and started an apprenticeship, and became so enthralled with it and had such fun with it, it became an avocation. And I've had some modicum of success. I have commissions. And what I have today are a few pieces that I did for a show a few years ago. I call this a light trilogy. I was sketching one day in my book and had a trail in mind with a lantern hanging on a post. And out of that evolves this suspension piece, which is made, the base is just a sewing machine balance wheel.
I thought that looked like it was maybe an antique or a found object.
And that's one of the things I like to do, is incorporating in my work, is to use elements, what I call off the shelf, that are existing and with elements that I make. And then of course the supporting bar with this, these three pieces. All of this is made at the anvil, and it starts out as a flat bar of stock or a round bar of stock, steel, that's hammered out. And in the case of these pieces, after it's shaped and hammered, there's a lot of time sanding to get to the finished look.
Like, for instance, this piece here.
This piece here, for example, it started off as this 3/8 inch round stock, and then it's hammered. It has what we call a poor man's decoration, a twist, and then it was drawn out to a point and curved. And I suspect I spent the better part of a week sanding on this, you know, to finer and finer grits of sandpaper to get that sheen and that finish. And then this, ironically, probably the simplest piece to make, the one that my wife Julie likes the best, is again just pieces, three pieces wrapped together, twisted together, with simple decorative elements of curls. And so we have what I call the trail light, and then the night lights, and just fun pieces. But I think they're nice in that they demonstrate basic elements of the craft of blacksmithing that's been incorporated. Any piece you see, the pieces that Richard Potter does, the pieces that Ward Brenniger, my master that I studied with in Santa Fe, are going to incorporate the techniques of drawing steel out, of twist, of decorative elements, but on a much larger scale.
And you also, I believe, demonstrate horseshoeing and so forth. And didn't you work on some horseshoes?
Well, not horseshoeing per se. I'm not a shoer. I know why we put shoes on horses and those kind of things. My grandfather, or my great-grandfather, William, was well known for his decorative shoes. In fact, he even used to make wedding portrait gifts out of horseshoes. I do interpretive smithing. The period I specialize in is from 1890 to 1900. And so I volunteer at the Stir Museum in Grand Island, Nebraska. I volunteer at the Hopkins County Historical Society in their Heritage Park in Sulphur Springs. And my goal is to share this passion and to show people what this craft was like from that period. So I limit myself to the tools that were available at that time. Consequently, I don't enjoy the benefits of our modern day arc welders and torches. I limit my work to the anvil and to the forge.
Well, it's the history, the appreciation of it, and the beauty in simple things. That's also our mission here at Anita Fern, and one of the things that we try and do. So, Ron, thank you for being a part of this and for helping us out this morning.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to know more about Ron Siebler and his work, also some of the other services that he offers so far as construction and renovation and painting and all sorts of things, you can go to his website at Siebler.com. And you can also come into Anita Fern if you'd like a copy of Ron's new video, which is called Views. A really fascinating, almost period Edison film-like piece of the art of blacksmithing, and Ron talks more about that. So we invite you to come on in. We thank you for being with us today for our discussion with Ron Siebler, one of the artisans that has contributed to the experience of Anita Fern. And it is an experience when you come into the store to see all the beautiful things that artisans from Stickley Furniture, from Copeland Furniture, from our architect Ann Abernathy, and people like Ron Siebler have contributed here to the building to make your shopping experience one of the most unique around. All of the pieces that you see here are things that you can buy and can be enjoyed for a generation. If you need more information about Ron Siebler, Siebler.com, we'll put that website up on the video for you and provide a link on our website. Until next time, we'll see you on the next Fireside Chat.
Anita Fern.